Hey, it's Melissa, Sincerely Creative Mom. This is the cutting instructions for the triple Valentine kit. You had Loads of Love with the pastels. That was for the sign extender. You have the Loads of Love truck with the 10-inch frame with our ribbons. And then we have the bundle, the 14-inch frame with the Love Shack and all these ribbons. We're going to talk about ribbon cutting in just a second. We are going to open the roll of mesh and cut mesh together because it is different than all of our normal cuts. In order for you to get enough mesh for all three pieces with just one roll of mesh, you have to follow our instructions. So I'm going to get right to it. I left it closed just so that you could see it is a brand new roll. It is 10 yards. The mesh is technically 10.5 inches by 10 yards long. We are definitely going to cut it. I'm just going to trim this edge real small, trim off that edge so I have a nice crisp edge. In order to get all of the pieces you need, you have to cut your mesh at 18 inches. 18 inches will be just perfect. Normally, I do 20 inches, but in order to get all three projects with one roll of mesh, we're going to cut them at 18 inches. That's number one. Number two, the first 6 pieces that we cut belong to your 10-inch frame. The first 6 pieces belong to your 10-inch frame. The next 6 pieces that we cut belong to the outside of your 14-inch frame. The next 6 pieces we cut belong to the inside of your, 14-inch frame. And the last piece left will belong to your sign extender. 18 inches. Say it with me. Put it in the comments. 18 inches. Okay. So we're going to try our best. Now, sometimes these rolls are short from the manufacturer. That I obviously have no control over. But we are cutting them at 18 inches. Now, I'm saying 18 inches just to be on the safe side. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, this video is the cutting only. It is the cutting of the mesh and of the ribbon only. Hopefully, if you've gotten to the design videos, I am redirecting you back here so that you and the paperwork that was in your kit, all the signs pointed you to this video first, okay? So that belongs to the 10-inch frame, okay? That belongs to the 10-inch frame. Let's go ahead and get rid of these and roll them up. I'm going to point this out later, but see how big they are? We want these to be, again, on the 10-inch frame. We're only going to use 6 pieces on that 10-inch frame. It's kind of just the way I use the 10-inch frame. It turns out to be about 23 inches wide when your wreath is complete. So very nice size still. Just slightly smaller. Okay. These are 4. You're going to use them on your 10-inch frame. You're only working on the outside twist ties. You'll get to that in the design. Okay. Again, each of these will have its own design. The sign extender will have its own video. The 10-inch frame will have its own video. And the 14-inch will have its own video. The next 6 pieces, 18 inches long, are going to go for the outside 6 twist ties on the 14-inch. Now, I say that very specifically, and I'm pointing this out very specifically, and cutting all the mesh with you specifically so that you get what I'm saying and why I'm using these pieces in certain spots. Now, is it going to look horrible if you don't use them in the exact same spot? No. Is it going to look the same as mine if you don't use them in the exact same spots? Also no. It will not look the same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So these go on the outside. Now look at how they're getting a little bit smaller. You see that? Notice how that is just a little bit smaller than the first 6. And I'm just going to go ahead and wrap these up. And you'll see how that, so it's just a matter of, you know, it being closer to the inside of that roll of mesh. We want those outside pieces to be a little bit more giving, a little more freer, take up a little bit more real estate, right? We want it to be expanding, okay, if you will. Now, short of rolling this whole entire roll out and, you know, stretching it along so that it starts to flatten out completely, it's going to stay kind of tightly wound here. So the next 6 pieces are going to be for the inside of the 14 inch. Again, I'm going 18 inches. So the sign extender looks best with a piece of mesh with it. It really does look the best with a piece of mesh. It's just a small piece. It's not humongous. It's not meant to be some, you know, part of this big element. It's just meant to cover up the sign extender. I'm talking about this one. So we don't need a huge piece. We just need a piece. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is giving us plenty of leftover here. We don't need it that much. We certainly don't. But I'm just going to leave what's on here left over. I'm going to leave it just there, and that'll be for our sign extender. So I'm going to take these pieces. Now look how small this piece is. See how that's a lot smaller, right? These 6 are going to go on the inside 6 twist ties of the 14 inch. Now, I know this is just the cutting, but if you're not following the cutting, you're for sure not going to have enough materials for all 3 pieces. So I figured I would do this separate so y'all could get your cutting first. Make sure that's all perfect. Now the mesh is done. However, the ribbons are all different. So we're going to make sure we cut the the ribbons also. So you can tell very easily what goes on the outside 6 and what goes on the inside 6. It's very clear once you have it rolled. Now, again, this is close to this size, but it's still bigger, and this goes specifically for the 10 inch. So even if you have them rolled up like this or sitting out and they're mixed up together, it should be fairly easy for you to say, okay, these belong to this, and the big one belongs to the 10 inch. Now, this is for, I'm going to pull it out so you can see, this is for the Love Shack. Okay, this is for the Love Shack. And very clearly here, you can see 2 ribbons there's more ribbon in the 2 ribbons than in the other other 4. Okay, so these are wrapped 14 inches. 14 inches. So if you measure them, you should see they're about some of them are a little bit longer, but 14 inches is the gist of it. All I want you to do now, this is for the plaid ribbon. All I want you to do is find your little finger right in that crease there. Find your little finger, both sides, okay? Now, make sure you got all of them. Don't cut your finger. Put your scissors right up underneath there and cut. This is for this kit only, okay? This kit only. The plaid for the Love Shack. Put your scissors right up underneath there. Give it a good cut. Now you're going to end up with 12 pieces at 14 inches long. Let me just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? 12 pieces, 14 inches long. Are they perfectly 14 inches? No. Do I want you to waste your time measuring out 14 inches? No. Also no. Okay? Just find your little finger in here. Find the center. Okay? If you want to feel better about it, now again, this is for the hearts, for the white with the hearts. You are not going to cut these. You're just going to cut the ribbon tails, okay? So if it makes you feel better, you can count these out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? If it makes you feel any better, you can count them out. That's fine. And then just slide your finger up underneath there. Through your scissors. Cut. And cut. Now, while they are like this, typically, I then take them and do the dovetailing. Okay? So I'm going to kind of line them all up a little bit. Not perfect, but line them all up. And here's where you'll see they're not all the same length. I promise you it's fine. I don't want you to take the time to cut every single solitary one individually. It is not that important. I'm going to fold them. Okay? I lined them all up as best as I can. Fold them, and then take your scissors on the fold, cut up towards the edge. On the fold, up towards the edge. So I have little V's there that look nice and polished. Now, because they're not all exactly, because they're looped around and they weren't all exactly the same, so I'm going to just pull these up here and kind of take my 2 seconds here and try to make them all going in the same, all kind of lined up the same. Again, I'm going to fold it, take my scissors, cut on the fold, up to the edge. Okay, I'm going to do that for all of these ribbons, both the hearts and the plaid. Okay, the hearts and the plaid. So real quickly, kind of line them all up, fold it, cut on the fold towards the edge. Now, prepping this all together at once and then being able to put them together, boom, 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 will be so much easier, okay? So just take your time, cut all the mesh at once if you want. You don't have to, but if you want. I will highly, highly recommend you using the method with the first 6 pieces for your 10-inch frame. If not, if you end up using the pieces from the very inside of that roll, they're kind of a little more tightly wound. So on the 10-inch frame, you want that ribbon to really expand as best as you can, or as best as it can. And if you're using the pieces from the inside, they're not going to do what you expect them to. They're going to do what they want to do, okay? So it's like my 6-year-old, right? He's just going to do what he wants to do. So if you use those outside pieces, it will be so, it'll expand so much better, and therefore taking up more space, and therefore appearing to keep a complete round wreath for you. Whereas if you're using those inside pieces, they'll kind of want to crunch up, and not crunch up, but curl up, and they're not going to give you the illusion of one kind of solid piece of mesh, which is, when we're done with this, the 10-inch, that's what it'll kind of look like before we add any of our ribbons. Okay, so with the Love Shack, okay, all I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do the rest of this, I will do it and kind of prep for the actual video, but all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plaid, and I'm going to put my hearts on the top, because I always put my favorite on the top, and I'm going to fold it and find the center, and I'm just going to make a pile, and I'm going to keep going, okay? Plaid on the bottom, hearts on the top, put them together, kind of line them up so they're about the same, fold it, find the center, put them in a pile. Okay, I'll come back to this. This will be all set and ready to go when it comes time for the design video. But those are your ribbon tails for the Love Shack. Now, this is what we have left over. This is going to be for your bow, which we are not going to touch right now because I do not cut them until the bow is made, okay? So you should have all 4, the solid pink, the polka dot, the hearts, and the leopard. All 4 are for your bow for the Love Shack for the 14-inch frame, okay? Now, if you choose to mix and match what we have going on here, you're not going to have enough, okay? If you choose to mix and match, you won't have enough. Moving on to the 10-inch frame, we have our mesh, our ribbon for the bow that we are not going to cut. We are not going to cut these. This is for our bow. A 4-inch, a 2.5-inch, and 2 1.5-inch. 4, 2.5, 1.5, 1.5. Put those babies back where you found them until you are ready to put your bow together. We are going to take the other 3, okay? Now these, forgive me, these need to be cut 16 inches. They are folded in 14 inches. Please forgive me, okay? Please forgive me. They are folded in 14 inches. We have to spread them out and cut 16 inches. Now, you can do that however you want, but do not just cut them like we did the last one. Okay? They will be a little bit short. Will it look horrible, horrible? No. Will it look the same as mine? Also no. Okay? Got a little bit left over. Okay? And then, again, you'll do the same with the dovetails. 16 inches long. Now you see, if you have a little 8-inch thing, let me see here. I do have a little 8-inch. This just seems to just work it out just fine. 16 inches. Takes 2 seconds. Inches. Again, you're going to dovetail these just like you did the last one. So these you need only 6, just like you need 6 pieces of mesh. 16 inches long. 16 inches long. And I am going to dovetail them, so I'm not really concerned about how perfect that cut is. Now, again, there will be 3 separate videos for the designs. That's just so it's easy for you to consume, bite-sized kind of pieces. You're not getting overloaded with a 2 or 3 hour video all at once. And I wanted to make sure that this was separate on purpose, because those can get really confusing if you're not seeing this cut all together, okay? So with the triple kit, again, you're using the same roll of mesh for all 3. So if you're not cutting it all together, if you're not seeing it cut all together, it might not make, a lot of sense. So again, putting those all together. So if I was doing the 10-inch first, and I was only cutting, that roll that much, you might be wondering, why am I doing the 18 inches? So it's just a little bit different with the triple kit, a little different measurements. And doing this kind of separate makes more sense. At least it makes more sense to me. Hopefully it does to you too. Now, I like the mix, specifically I like the mix of the red, the black, and the pink in this kit. Really cool, and it brings out those hearts in the sign in the truck. Super duper cute. So I like the blend there. Of course, the buffalo plaid, still a crowd favorite, still trending very nicely. So this is one of my favorite kits. I actually did this, a similar kit, same sign, last year as well. It turned out really nice. Very popular. There we go. The triple kits are really nice because you get to use all 3 pieces, and you get the supplies and the materials for all 3. So it's really nice. The one last thing we are going to do in this video is prep our signs. Now, I say prep our signs, and I mean for you, if you are going to be using the zip tie mounts that come with the kits, okay, I'm personally going to use a staple gun. That's just what I prefer to use. It's my preference. But if you're going to use these, I would suggest that you do that now. And what you want to do is, hold on, let me grab my clamp. Oh. What you want to do is, I had this old tube of E6000. I would rather you use DAP Rapid Fuse because it dries very quickly. And this is very old and it's actually horrible to use. It's not a good packaging, so you can see like the glue is coming out of like spots of it. Anyways, you're going to, whether you use the E6000 if that's what you have on hand, or the DAP Rapid, you're going to use a teensy tiny little dab of that glue. You're going to peel this green off, okay? Use a teensy tiny little piece of that glue, little tiny doop doop right there, and then you're going to put it on the back of your sign. Okay, you're going to put it on the back of your sign. I am not, so I'm going to just give you an example here. Okay, put it back on, and then if you have clamps, this has been a very good tool for me. If you have clamps, it's not going to be moving obviously, but take your clamp and clamp it. Oops. Remember, it's supposed to be stuck there. And then let it dry. So if you do this on both sides, do the same thing. Peel off the green, add your little bit of DAP Rapid, remove your sticker here, stick it on there, put your other clamp on. If you do this at the beginning, when you're ready to assemble your whole wreath, those should be dry and good to go. Okay? Now, in the assembly, in the design, you'll see I'm going to use a staple gun and my pipe cleaners. All the same, but what you'll do is you'll take this and your pipe cleaner and run it through there. Okay, run it through, and then you'll twist it. It's weird to do when it's not attached. Twist it. It'll be on both sides, and then that's what you're going to use to attach your wreath or your sign into your wreath. Okay, because it'll be stuck nice and tight, and you'll see in the design. Or, yeah, in the design video, you'll see a little more detail. Okay, Togi, so do that at the beginning so that they're ready for you and dry and ready to go, rock and roll when you are ready to assemble. Now, I'm going to do things a little bit differently here. I'm going to put my 2.5 inch on the top. I know that's a little different, but it's my favorite, so I'm going to put it on the top. My solid's going to go next, and then my buffalo plaid, the 1.5 inch. So again, I'm going to kind of make those, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of get them lined up a little bit, and I'm going to keep that same pattern the whole time. So it's going to go 2.5 inch, and then the pink, and then the buffalo plaid, just so that when I'm putting those in the design, it looks a little nicer. It's a little easier to kind of follow along and look at all those ribbon tails. Y'all, I am very thankful that you have purchased this kit. I love the triple kits. I put a lot of thought, a lot of energy into them to make sure we have the right blend of all the things. I love this one. It's super cute. I cannot wait for the design to all come to life and for you to see in the videos. And I cannot wait to see yours also. Oops. Don't forget, you can text me pictures of your completed wreath, which I love to see. You can text me pictures at 810-498-2310. I don't know where the number is here. Let me see. Here it is. 810-498-2310. If you were one of the lucky ones to get one of these kits, I am so happy for you. I love it so much. And you'll see in the next videos, which all listed on our YouTube, the design for the 14 inch, for the Love Shack, the 10 inch with the truck, Loads of Love, and then of course the sign extender with the pink Loads of Love and the extra mesh we have going on here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you followed along. It was nice and easy. If you have any questions, please text me. This is the #1 place I see questions. Even if you're leaving comments, I do read through them, but I don't want to miss your if it's, you know, if it's about this stuff I don't want to miss. So please text me directly, 810-498-2310. You can text me any time, day or night. It is an app on my phone, so it doesn't, you know, chime and wake me up in the middle of the night. It's totally fine. I get text messages all hours of the day. Y'all, it's been a pleasure. I can't wait to see you in the next design videos, and I'll see you soon.